You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
Trump has created a world where there really are complete alternative facts, and people believe an entire universe, one that's completely made up. None of us are there except those who want to believe it. So look, he created this war as a distraction. He wants to distract people from his bad behavior, from his corrupt behavior, from his impeachable behavior. He wants to have a conversation about war and how tough he is. He's not tough. He's not tough at all. And look, I just hope people are paying attention because this could escalate. Thankfully, it looks like it hasn't to this point, but we're just fortunate right now. But every moment he is in the White House, people are at risk, and our freedom is at risk, and the people that serve our military are at risk. He does not care about what their families are going through. He executed this without any thought, without any type of strategy about what would actually be next. He just said, "Oh, I want to look tough. Let's do this. Send out a tweet, and then I can just do this." This was not
he had a strategy.
Planned out,
Did you not see
his
national security team behind him?
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold up. Did you just say he had a strategy?
Yes, he did.
Is that what you said?
He has a strategy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Monique, hold on. I want you to hold that point. Because, y'all, today there was a military briefing that took place on Capitol Hill. Republicans and Democrats. This is Senator Mike Lee of Utah, Republican. This is what he had to say after listening to the so-called strategy of Donald Trump.
We just left the briefing, and we were talking about Iran. I want to state at the outset, I support President Trump. I support and respect the manner in which he has approached his commander-in-chief powers. I believe that more than any other president in my lifetime, President Trump has shown a lot of restraint. He's been reluctant to get us involved in wars all over the globe. He's been very mindful and respectful of the fact that when the American people are asked to give up blood and treasure, they're sending off their sons and their daughters, their moms and their dads into battlefield. And he's therefore very careful about it. I respect that enormously. My comments at the moment are not directed toward the attack that occurred on Friday. We'll leave that to another day. I will say that we were brought into this briefing today to talk to us about that attack on Friday. I had hoped and expected to receive more information outlining the legal, factual, and moral justification for the attack. I was left somewhat unsatisfied on that front. The briefing lasted only 75 minutes, whereupon our briefers left. This, however, is not the biggest problem I have with the briefing, which I would add was probably the worst briefing I've seen, at least on a military issue, in the 9 years I've served in the United States Senate. What I found...
He said it was the worst military briefing in the 9 years he served in the United States Senate. Trump has been there how many years? That means Mike Lee came in when Obama was president. Henry, go back to my iPad.
Stressing about that briefing was that one of the messages we received from the briefers was do not debate, do not discuss the issue of the appropriateness of further military intervention against Iran. And that if you do, you'll be emboldening Iran. The implication being that we would somehow be making America less safe by having a debate or a discussion about the appropriateness of further military involvement against the government of Iran. Now, I find this insulting and demeaning, not personally, but to the office that each of the 100 senators in this building happens to hold. I find it insulting and I find it demeaning to the Constitution of the United States, to which we've all sworn an oath. It is, after all, the prerogative of the legislative branch to declare war. Article 1, Section 8 makes that very clear. Alexander Hamilton in Federalist Number 69 made clear that this was a sharp contrast from the form of government that we had prior to the Revolution, a form of government in which the executive, the king, had the power to take us to war. He did not need the Parliament to weigh in on it, to support it. That was the Parliament's job after the fact, after we had gone into war. This, Hamilton explained in Federalist 69, is exactly the reason why this power was put in Article 1, Section 8, in the branch of government most accountable to the people at the most regular intervals. When we send our brave soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines into harm's way, we owe the American people the decent courtesy to follow the Constitution, to debate and discuss these actions. For them to tell us that either through a War Powers Act resolution or otherwise, for us to debate and discuss these things on the Senate floor would somehow weaken the American cause and embolden Iran in any other actions, I find very insulting. Now, look, I hope that they'll come back and they'll say, no, you misunderstood us. We didn't say that at all.
Monique, insulting, demeaning, worst military briefing in my 9 years. This is Trump's so-called best and brightest.
Yes, and the part that was important to me about that is he's saying the insult to the institution, to Congress, and to the Constitution is, it's this, you can see the authoritarianism coming through that...
Like, don't you dare question.
Because those are the orders that they're getting, that their commander-in-chief does not want any pushback, any debating, any concern for Congress to actually do their job, which is if we're going to declare war, it has to be discussed, it has to be debated and decided by them. But the marching orders that the White House is giving is that they somehow threaten the safety of our country by doing the job that the Constitution of the United States requires them to do. It is not optional for them to question and require from the president justification if the recommendation is, as I said before, sending men and women into harm's way. I received a text message 3-4 days ago, whenever the day before the attack, from a girlfriend who I'll just leave off here, from my hometown, and she sent me a picture of her son that they had seen on social media, which was how she found out that he had been dispatched, and asked for our prayers. And her daughter was the one who had sent it to her. Now, that goes with the job. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. But when that happens, because this president is trying to duck an impeachment and the heat that goes with that and trying to distract from it, or when it happens because the president is surrounded by people whose only real desire is to create opportunities for revenue and for personal gain, then, as I said, we are in a very sad situation.
Rob, what is interesting here is that this is Donald Trump's people telling United States senators, duly elected, 1, don't do your job. 2, you don't have any oversight of what we do.
Right. Well, you know, and to this point, I can see why he told them that, because they've gone along with it. Most people in that party have been cowards and traitors. They've gone along with whatever the president has said, no matter what the Constitution says, no matter how corrupt, no matter how much he tried to overrule their authority. This has been done many times. This current president has done so many things that other presidents, I mean, Obama, of course, couldn't have done any of these things. He would have been thrown out, probably be in jail right now. But no president has done the amount of things he's done. So I want them, hopefully, he started showing maybe they have a little bit of a backbone, because I'm not sure. I mean, he's trying to get rid of Congress, because at this point, if they don't stand up at some point, we don't have a constitution, we don't have a rule of law, we don't have anything. Just think about that point he said, as I conclude. He said the military officials that were briefing Senator Lee said that debate weakens America. Debate is what is the most American thing we can have. If we're not able to debate, we no longer have a free country. Why are we here? Are we just going to make Trump king? Is that what we're doing now? I'm just asking.
Well, again,
CJ, Ed O'Keefe was with CBS News. This is what he tweeted out. Here we go to my iPad. Schumer's asked that Pompeo, Secretary of State, Esper, Secretary of Defense, and company, announced that they had to leave as the questions got harder. Pompeo and Esper were set to address reporters after the all-senators briefing, but left without doing so. Apparently, 97 senators were in attendance. Only 15 got to ask questions. You just heard an ardent, hardcore supporter of Donald Trump call that the worst military briefing in 9 years. You defend that nonsense?
At the end of the day, Senator Lee, a great libertarian who...
Is he Republican?
He is a Republican, and he's a libertarian
Has he voted along the lines of Donald Trump?
Yes, he has. And again...
Has he supported Donald Trump?
And again, as his First Amendment right, he's entitled to his opinion.
No, actually, no, as a right as a United States Senator.
He's entitled to his opinion.
It was him and Rand Paul.
And they were both entitled to their opinion.
Does it not bother you when you have two U.S. senators say it was the worst military briefing in 9 years?
No, because at the end of the day, this president ran that there would be no Benghazi on his watch. Iran attacked our embassy. He killed a contractor.
I'm sorry, Iran attacked our embassy when?
Yes. The other night, the reason we sent a missile over there.
Keep going.
And so at the end of the day, this president said there'll be no Benghazi. And he's not going to send up there, and Secretary Pompeo is not going to say, oh, what difference does it make? It makes a goddamn difference when you have someone, when we talk about a red line, he told them, if you hit our bases, if you hit our men and women, if you hit our embassy, hey, be prepared for retaliation. And again, as Jaya Johnson said, who had served twice in the Obama administration as the head attorney for DOD, and then
who?
Jaya Johnson.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jaya Johnson was the head of the Department of Homeland Security.
No, before he went to Homeland Security.
Said 2 terms.
He served in 2 positions.
Right, but he
started off at DOD.
He was the head of the Department of Homeland Security.
He started off at DOD, thank you.
Right.
As a military attorney.
Right, but he wasn't just an attorney. He became Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security.
You didn't let me finish. So he started off there. And then he went to Secretary at Homeland Security. He said, along with other folks, that the president had the right and the authority.
Okay, you still haven't answered the question. First of all, we understand the president has the right to authority to
and again, and the president has never said, the president has never said, and he has not said that we are going to war. And if we go to war, just as President Bush did, then the Senate and the House can debate.
But you still have not addressed the issue
of that
when you have United States senators who are Republicans,
and again,
who are saying it was an awful briefing, and how do you go to
they expressed their First Amendment right.
How do you go to the United States Senate and you do a 75-minute briefing?
You don't have to be in there for 5 hours. They chose that they wanted to do a 2-hour, a 75-minute briefing.
You were talking about the killing of a major leader.
Right.
Wait. This is a world leader that, by the way, he was not a good person. That's not the point. Are we going to start taking out everybody that we disagree with?
And
There's people from Saudi Arabia.
Wait. And he said, look, there will be no Benghazis, and he's not going to do it.
Rob is talking. Go ahead, Rob.
Hold on, CJ. I'll let you finish. But nobody has said there was a credible threat except for Trump. No, and so far you heard people have the debrief, and no one can back up the claims that this president says. So he seems to be lying or making it up.
You only had 2 Republicans who
said
said
it was the worst.
He said it was the worst briefing. He didn't talk about the claims.
And he also said, I have this one question for you. Are you okay with them saying debate makes America weak? Do you agree with that?
The president never said that. I
don't know.
People said it.
I was not in there.
Hell, you weren't in these meetings you say you talking about. You have sat here and tried to offer so-called evidence. You were not in a single one of those meetings.
You don't know where my ass was.
You can't even state where you got it from.
I got it from
CJ. You were literally sitting here making stuff up.
Like the American people.
No.
The president said through his Twitter feed when he spoke to the American people through his press secretary, he said that he would not have a Benghazi.
This is a Comedy Central segment. You are literally sitting here making stuff up and then go, oh, I'll send you the links. You can't even pull them up on your iPad. Pull them up.
Veterans with Trump administration mission acts reforms wins.
That's from where?
Again.
No, that's from where?
Military.com.
So what does the story say?
And that was July.
No, what does the story say? You read a headline. What is it?
You want to read it? I'll send it to you.
No, what is it? No, we're sitting here.
The headlines in the media, Department of Veteran Affairs implementation of the Mission Act was going to be something of a mess. One story said expect glitches. Another said
I'm sorry, hold up. You said which act?
The Mission Act.
Okay.
But thanks to thousands of dedicated VA workers around the country.
You said the Mission Act.
Yes.
Who signed that?
Donald Trump.
So when Monique laid out to you the fact that the bill was signed under Obama, so it doesn't matter?
No, this was not signed under Obama.
No. She stated, you touted, stop, CJ.
I didn't talk about the Mission Act.
You touted VA members being allowed to go to private hospitals. You credited Trump for that. Okay?
Yes.
You said it was a mess under Obama. It was signed by Obama. Without Obama signing it, it ain't law. So how you gonna credit Trump and ignore? No. How you gonna credit Trump? How you gonna credit Trump but ignore the guy who signed the bill and ignore the Congress who passed it when Trump was sitting there in New York? How you gonna do that?
I'm not doing it.
Monique, go ahead. Again, this is like this ain't even alternative facts. This is like straight up make believe. Go ahead.
So I think what it's important for us to do now as voters and as a country is to not ignore the necessity of impeachment hearings because someone who is not stable, who is amoral, and who delights in proceeding absent education and not listening to the advice of those who are left around him who actually can provide it. What we have to do is the opposite of what the president and his minions want. So we have to pay attention to the impeachment process. We have to call our senators and impress upon them the importance of the procedure being fair, the importance of there being a real trial, the importance of witnesses being called and stay on mission. And it does matter. So when someone like Bolton, who 3 or 4 at this point other witnesses have provided testimony about, be thinking. There are transcripts of those meetings. There are readouts and notes from the people who said that he said different things. We need to hear all of that, and that's what's going to make a difference. Don't do this where we just fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
I completely agree.
And we start talking about. I mean, I'm in some sort of diamond and silk redo, but I am neither diamond nor silk. Just keep that in mind.
Rob, final comment.
No. So just to add to her point, and I'll be very quick on this. Democracy is hard to maintain, and all the close questions of America, ending Jim Crow, ending slavery, were very, very, very close questions, and it requires people to be engaged. So nothing's guaranteed. Our democracy is not guaranteed. The future is not guaranteed. Progress is not guaranteed. All of that has to be fought for. We have to stay engaged. We have to stay vigilant. These are really, really, really close and stressful times. And this current president can change the whole trajectory of America and take away freedoms from many, many, many different people if we're not careful. So look, we better be engaged. We better wake up.
Yeah.
And again, folks, the reason we do a fact check because I don't tolerate when Donald Trump lies. I use the hashtag Trump Lies Matter. Every time he lies, and if somebody comes on this show and lies and makes stuff up, you're going to get called out. Doesn't matter you're Democrat, doesn't matter whether you're Republican, whether you're black, whether you're white, doesn't matter. But the bottom line is Donald Trump consistently stands in front of the American people and lies and somehow thinks that we can't go back and check those things. Like, for instance, when he kept claiming that the bill Monique talked about, he kept claiming that he actually signed it into law. No, he didn't. Those were lies. That bill was signed into law by President Barack Obama. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.